Ever wondered how your mind manipulates your reality? It's a question that may seem somewhat esoteric, yet it's a concept that is deeply rooted in the study of psychology. You see, our minds are fascinating entities, often playing elaborate tricks on us. They can paint our world in vivid colors or dim the lights, all based on our perceptions, experiences, and emotions. The field of psychology delves into these intricate mind games, shedding light on how our brains interpret and interact with the world around us. It's a subject rife with mystery and intrigue, yet it's also one that can provide profound insights into our behaviors and thought patterns. So, are you ready to take a journey into the unexplored corners of your mind? Are you prepared to uncover the dark yet captivating psychological facts that influence your everyday decisions and interactions? If so, buckle up. Let's delve into the top 10 psychological facts that you may find quite dark yet fascinating. Number 10. The halo effect. Ever judged someone based on a single trait? It's more common than you might think, and there's a name for it: the halo effect. This psychological phenomenon describes our tendency to allow one positive characteristic to overshadow other qualities, leading to an overall favorable impression. It's like seeing a person through a halo, hence the name. This can be as simple as assuming that someone attractive is also kind, intelligent, and successful. But here's the catch. This bias can be misleading. It can cause us to overlook flaws, make incorrect assumptions, and even lead us to make poor decisions. The halo effect is not limited to personal impressions either. It can influence our judgment in professional settings, during job interviews, or when forming opinions about public figures. So beware of the halo effect. It might be distorting your perception. Number 9. The false consensus effect. Ever thought everyone shares your opinion? This psychological phenomenon convinces us that our beliefs, values, and habits are the norm, and we overestimate how much other people agree with us. It's like how Light Yagami from Death Note believes that his justice is the true justice, leading him down a path of delusion and overconfidence. The false consensus effect can warp our understanding of the world around us, making us believe that our opinion is the majority, even when it's not. It's a subconscious defense mechanism that helps us feel validated and secure in our beliefs. But be aware, this can also breed misunderstanding, as we're prone to misjudge others' perspectives and beliefs. So, next time you're certain that everyone agrees with your point of view, take a moment to reflect. Is it a fact, or is it the false consensus effect in play? Remember, not everyone thinks the same way as you do. Number 8. The bystander effect. Ever stood by and watched something happen without intervening? This is a psychological phenomenon where individuals are less likely to offer help to a victim when other people are present. The more bystanders, the less likely anyone is to step forward. Why does this happen? It boils down to a sense of shared responsibility. Everyone thinks someone else will act, so no one does. But it's not just about responsibility, it's also about conformity. We look to others for cues on how to behave. If no one else is reacting, we assume that's the correct response. However, this effect can lead to inaction during critical situations. It's a chilling reminder of how our brains can trick us into passivity even when someone's well-being is at stake. So next time you're in a group and see something wrong, break the norm. Act. Number 7. The Dunning-Kruger effect. Ever met someone incompetent yet overly confident about their abilities? That's what psychologists Dunning and Kruger discovered in their research. Individuals with low ability at a task often overestimate their ability at that task. This is not due to arrogance, but rather a lack of self-awareness. They don't know what they don't know. This can lead to a dangerous cycle. Overconfidence can discourage self-improvement, resulting in stagnant skills and continued mediocrity. It's like being stuck in a foggy maze without realizing you're lost. But it's not all doom and gloom. The first step to breaking free from the Dunning-Kruger effect is awareness. By understanding this phenomenon, we can actively seek feedback, pursue learning, and maintain a healthy humility about our competencies. So the next time you feel supremely confident about something, take a pause. Ask yourself, am I under the illusion of the Dunning-Kruger effect? Stay humble, stay aware. Overconfidence might just be your downfall. Number 6, the confirmation bias. Ever ignored evidence that contradicts your beliefs? We've all been there. Confirmation bias is a psychological phenomenon where we favor information that confirms our existing beliefs or values. It's like having blinders on, focusing only on what aligns with our views and ignoring the rest. Now here's the twist. This bias doesn't just affect our beliefs, it shapes our decision-making process too. When faced with a decision, We often seek out information that supports our preconceived notions rather than objectively analyzing all relevant data. This can lead to poor judgment and decision-making. Why does this happen? It's a defense mechanism. Our brains are wired to avoid cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort experienced when confronted with contradictory information. But it's essential to be aware of this bias. It can prevent us from seeing the truth and accepting new ideas. Keep an open mind. Not everything that contradicts your beliefs is wrong. Number 5, the self-serving bias. Ever took credit for your success but blamed failures on external factors? That's the self-serving bias at work. It's the tendency for individuals to attribute their successes to their own abilities and efforts, but lay the blame for failures on external circumstances. It's like a defense mechanism we use to protect our self-esteem, but it often leads to a distorted self-view. This bias can make us see ourselves as infallible beings who only stumble because of factors beyond our control. But remember, it's a double-edged sword. While it can boost our confidence during success, it can also prevent us from learning from our mistakes when we fail. It's crucial to recognize this bias in ourselves. It's okay to be proud of our achievements, but it's also important to own up to our mistakes. Because in the end, it's through failures we learn the most. Stay grounded. Success or failure, you're a part of both. Number 4, the in-group bias. Ever favored people who are part of your group while discriminating against outsiders? This brings us to the concept of in-group bias, a psychological phenomenon where we favor those who belong to our group over those who don't. It's a product of our natural instinct to feel connected and protected within our tribe, our group, our team. But here's the catch. This bias can often lead to discrimination and unfair treatment. Think about it. Have you ever made assumptions about someone just because they weren't part of your group? Or have you overlooked the mistakes of your group members just because they're one of us? That's in-group bias in action, subtly shaping our social behavior. It's important to be aware of this bias, to challenge it, and to strive for fairness. Because at the end of the day, we're all part of the same global community. Remember, diversity is the spice of life. Number 3, the availability heuristic. Ever overestimated the likelihood of events that come easily to mind? This psychological phenomenon is a mental shortcut that relies on immediate examples that come to a given person's mind when evaluating a specific topic, concept, method, or decision. Let's say you're asked to guess the probability of a plane crash. You might think it's higher than it really is, because news of plane crashes tend to stick in our minds. This is the availability heuristic at work. It influences our decision-making process by causing us to overestimate the likelihood of events based on how easily the memory of such events can be recalled. This can lead us to miscalculate risks and harbor irrational fears. For example, you might avoid swimming in the ocean due to fear of shark attacks, even though the odds of being attacked by a shark are extremely low. Don't let your fears dictate your decisions. Instead, strive for a better understanding of the realities behind these fears and in turn, make more rational decisions. Number 2, the fundamental attribution error. Ever blamed someone's behavior on their personality rather than considering situational factors? This common psychological misstep is known as the fundamental attribution error. It's when we're quick to judge others harshly while excusing our own shortcomings. Imagine you're watching an anime. A character slips up or makes a mistake. Rather than considering the pressure they're under or the difficult circumstances they're facing, you might think, what a terrible person. That's the fundamental attribution error in action. This error can cause misunderstandings and conflicts. It's easy to blame a friend's perceived laziness on their personality, rather than considering that they might be going through a tough time, or to judge a character's actions without fully understanding their backstory. Remember, everyone is the hero of their own story. Life isn't like an anime where everything is black and white. Empathy is key. Understand before you judge. And finally, number 1, the just world hypothesis. Ever believed that the world is fair and people get what they deserve? This is the essence of the just world hypothesis. It's a psychological tendency for individuals to believe that life is inherently just, causing them to rationalize an otherwise inexplicable injustice as deserved by the victim. This hypothesis can shape our worldviews in profound ways. It can influence our perceptions of others, our judgments, and even our actions. For instance, the just world hypothesis often leads to victim blaming, since people tend to believe that victims must have done something to deserve their fate. It can also result in denial of injustice, as acknowledging that bad things can happen to good people without a just cause can be deeply unsettling. However, it's crucial to remember that the world isn't always fair. Strive for justice, not just world fallacies.